The new lawsuit after the Democrat state controller in California refused to explain what happened to $320 billion in annual state payments, claiming that she could not locate a single one of the 49 million bills she paid last year. Betty Yee had previously tried attacking President Trump for cutting taxes, yet she herself is refusing to let taxpayers know what happened to this $320 billion. The nonprofit American Transparency is suing California's controller for an alleged lack of transparency in state spending. The same group sued Illinois' controller in 2013 and won. It has collected detailed spending accounts from all other 49 states through its Open the Books project, said American Transparency founder and CEO Adam Andrzejewski. California's accounts are the only ones that remain in the dark. Controller Betty T. Yee, a Democrat, has said that she is unable to comply with the organization's California Public Records Act request. Andrzejewski expands on the unbelievable excuses coming from Yee. He just gave this article to Real Clear Politics that opens saying just a few of the serious financial problems facing California include unfunded public employee pension promises, a potential state credit downgrade, an unprecedented homeless crisis, and a net out-migration of 912,000 residents since 2010. One easy step California can take is to join every other state in the union and open up its state checkbook for review, allowing citizens, journalists, watchdogs, academics, and public policy experts to review state spending would help the state get its fiscal house in order. Unfortunately, last fall, California State Controller Betty Yee, pictured here, rejected our sunshine request for the state checkbook. Oddly, the rejection didn't argue the law, but instead claimed that the controller couldn't locate a single one of the 49 million bills she paid last year. This admission provides a troubling clue to California taxpayers who are wondering how and where their money is being spent. The answer is the people spending it literally don't know, or they at least say that they don't. It is of course unimaginable and laughable that the state that is home to Silicon Valley can't put basic transparency tech in place. The state's feigned tech illiteracy begs the question, what are they trying to hide? Taxpayers in California certainly want to know what's happening to state funds. It shouldn't take subpoenas and litigation to find up to $320 billion in annual state payments and show taxpayers how their money was spent. Andrzejewski adds, quote, so our organization at openthebooks.com, alongside our attorneys at Cause of Action Institute, a government oversight organization, filed an open records lawsuit in Sacramento State Court. Our lawsuit begins the process of forcing open the state's line-by-line expenditures. Another new article adds that the request asked for an electronic copy of all records relating to state spending information. A November 4th letter from the controller to American Transparency, included in the court documents, responded that, quote, the state controller's office does not maintain a centralized vendor contract database which would allow it to identify all contracts. In an editorial, Controller Betty Yee claimed, quote, in contrast to a business or individual person, the state of California does not maintain a checkbook. Of course, there are records of all state disbursements, though not all in one location, format, or file. Things get even stranger here as Yee implied that if all state agencies participated in the financial information system of California, vendor data would be more easily available. This state's new central system for accounting has been the subject of much criticism, however. So even Yee's suggested solution to this alleged bad record keeping has a ton of problems of its own. Essentially, Yee was arguing that more money toward this supercomputer upgrade would somehow help track down the other missing money. Meanwhile, 8 years and $1 billion later, California's supercomputer upgrade to track finances is still not doing its job. The system cannot even produce a simple line-by-line accounting of expenditures. The new super system was supposed to cost $617 million and be complete in 4 years, yet 8 years later, the system remains unfinished. The project's price tag has officially exceeded more than $1 billion, and even that figure, according to the state auditor, is woefully misleading and surely much higher. Even if the system were operating properly, said Andrzejewski in an editorial for Forbes, it will only reflect about 65% of what's spent by the state. He added that the Financial Information System of California's website will never contain the spending for 10 major units of state government, including colleges and universities, the California Public Employees Retirement System, the state legislature, the California State Teachers Retirement System, and the Office of Legislative Counsel. After the Comptroller's November 4th letter, American Transparency's lawyers restated the request for information and argued that Yee should be able to provide the requested information. They said that if she doesn't have the information on hand, her office would be unable to conduct its own internal audits, and it would be unable to respond to oversight requests from the governor or the legislature. Quote, after the new request, we waited 2 months to file our case in California State Court because we were still hoping for a response and production, Andrzejewski wrote in an email, adding, quote, the Comptroller never responded. Actual court documents expand further on this aspect of the case, saying that the alleged inability of the Comptroller to produce the public records sought by the plaintiffs beggars belief. If the Comptroller cannot effectively manage records of state vendor payments and maintain those records in a searchable database such that it can provide some minimal level of transparency into its core operations, then it seems it should be impossible for the Comptroller to meet its other obligations, such as providing auditing services and financial oversight for the entire state apparatus of the 5th largest economy in the world. If the Comptroller truly cannot track its own use of government monies, then it cannot effectively stop waste, fraud, corruption, and taxpayer abuse. They list these 3 issues here. First, the state credit rating. The state auditor just issued a report saying the state's $1.1 billion accounting system is so flawed that it could lead to a state credit downgrade. Then there's the issue of corruption. Comptroller Yee claims that 99.7% of all state payments were properly paid, even though she told us that she can't find her receipts. Betty Yee is probably the only one of 40 million residents of California who believes that state government is that efficient, effective, and honest. Yee estimates that the state only loses a mere 0.3%, less than 1/3 of 1% of state dollars every year through waste, abuse, and fiscal management. The state's many problems suggest that this is a fantasy. And also, they list the problem of homeless populations in the state of California being a big issue, yet most of the funds appear to be mismanaged that should be used to address this problem. California, a state whose $3 trillion GDP ranks it ahead of the United Kingdom, spends an enormous sum of money, The state spends more than $320 billion per year, with federal taxpayers funding $106 billion of it. If taxpayers can't follow the money, it will be hard for the state to address its mounting fiscal challenges. I will continue following this case and will follow up here with any other big updates. Please let me know what you think so far. If you could give this video a thumbs up, that's greatly appreciated, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Down in the video description are links to my Patreon and PayPal accounts where you can support this channel directly. Thanks again.